Quetta has come out to talk to us. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Can you tell us what Tony Rudiger said to you and what happened from there?
Right, it's very clear every time we have meetings in the Premier League and with the referees before the game. We have been told to report if any incident with racism happens straight away to report to the ref. So Tony came to me and told me that he was listening some racism songs toward him. So I just I reported to the ref immediately, and I left to the ref to do his job, because we are very, very concerned and very aware of this behaviour, and altogether we need to stop.
Do you know if any other Chelsea players heard it at all?
No, because obviously we went straight to play, because the incident with Son and his red card was towards this area, and it's where it happened. So now I hope everything gets clear and we eradicate it as soon as possible, because it's an issue not only in football but in life, and altogether we need to work towards the eradication of the problem.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's right, but we can't keep talking about it. We've got to do something about it. Incidents, of course, in Spain, the country from which he comes. His own club last season found themselves in the dock as a result of incidents. Manchester City earlier in the season, and now Spurs, and so it goes on. Bulgaria at international level. They're not the only ones. We can't just keep talking. We have to do something about it. Here is the Spurs boss, Jose Mourinho.
Than us, they come with Antonio Conte's system, a system where some of the players are very, very comfortable. Kante, Aspi, Alonso, these are players that are William. These are players that know very, very well how to play in that system. They press us high, but in spite of that, I know, and that's the reason why I tried at halftime to change. I know that. Tactically, they were good in the first half, but the reality of the game is that we concede 2 goals in one short corner and in one penalty. And the short corner, we know how to defend, and our players, they were not concentrated, they were not focused. And I always tell the players that in the difficult moment of the game is where you have to be more focused, more concentrated, and survive to the difficult moment of the game. And when we were surviving to the difficult moment of the game, which was the first 20-25 minutes, we concede that goal. And then when we hoped to go to half-time with the 1-0, which was what happened to us against Olympiacos, we went to half-time with the 2-1, not with the 2-0. You go with the 2-0 and everything is more difficult. And then that situation with Sonny and against Everton, Sonny was crying because of what happened to Andre Gomes, and now Sonny is crying because he broke Antonio Rudiger a few ribs, and the kid is crying too.
Unfortunately, not a laughing matter. Yet again, an allegation of racism in an English football ground. What's your reaction to what you saw and the announcements that were made?
I saw nothing. I saw the referee following the protocol. I saw the referee speaking with Mariner. I saw the referee coming to me and to Lampard and tell us what was going on, and the protocol was followed. And of course, our club will deal with it, because we are one of the clubs. We are one of the clubs, but every club is together on this situation, and of course we are disappointed, but the protocols were followed.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Spurs were within touching distance. They're not now. 8 points the gap. 6 points the gap. 6 points the gap. I'm 26 to 32. 6 points the gap. City and Leicester, just a point between them, and Liverpool's lead over second place this weekend unchanged after Leicester's defeat at City yesterday. And not only did they win that Club World Cup, they also maintain a 10-point lead at the top. Unfortunately, the headlines tomorrow will be once again about racist abuse from the terraces. Look at this, there's your clue. There were subsequently 3 stadium announcements about racism affecting the game, which led to conversations, I understand, at the stadium as to whether the players actually should have been withdrawn at that stage. Probably would have suited Tottenham, but that's what Anthony Taylor was talking to both captains about. Then what else can you say? Something I spoke to Gianni Infantino about this week, and he said we're doing everything we can. Now, this obviously is not a FIFA problem, but they do lead the way, FIFA. They are able to make decisions. I made the point to him, Andy, that it's still the case that a player can be fined a six-figure sum for getting his underpants sponsored, Nicholas Bentner.
So,
and Bulgaria, 2 matches behind closed doors, 1 suspended, and what, a pittance of a fine.
30,000.
Until we start taking this problem seriously, nobody else will take it seriously, will they?
Oh, absolutely not. And until FIFA, they're the ones that they will have the benchmark as to where we go with this, and they have to be severe with it. But how do you identify them, Richard?
One is too many, isn't it?
No, one is too many. But what I'm saying is, how do you do it? How do you identify these people in a crowd of 60,000, unless the cameras are actually on them?
Well, you would hope so. And then, I mean, I would have thought in that stadium of all of them, it's a brand new stadium. It must be covered comprehensively with CCTV. I would think.
I would guess. But
and whoever that was
in that particular area
needs to be found and banned.
100%. Yes, banned totally.
It's very difficult to police 60,000 people. What you have is a couple of mindless idiots. That's what they are. They've drank too much. They've gone over the top. It's an absolute disgrace. I know it shouldn't happen. It's unacceptable. And what they have to do now, they have to rely on other supporters around the perpetrators, and they have to ban them for life. That's all unfortunately we can do right now, because there could have been a situation where both managers agreed to take the players off the pitch, and that would have spoiled a great performance from Chelsea.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when people keep coming up with these racial chants and things like that, it's very difficult to police it. Every single fan in the ground, it's just 1 or 2 people have gone totally over the top, out of order. It's wrong.
And you know what, John Richard? It would have been totally wrong, because these mindless idiots, had they taken their players off, would have won.
Yeah.
They would have won, Richard.
Yeah.
Chelsea are cruising. They're winning a football. It's a fantastic result for Chelsea, the fans, the players, Antonio Rudiger and all of them. And to have taken them off, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but to have taken them off, they would have won. The mindless idiots in my mind would have won. They can't stop the game.
Yeah.
Now, unless they say, well, Chelsea will still win that game 2-0, I don't know. That's fine then. But if they had to replay that game because they took them off before the end of the game, who's won that then? Who's won that argument?
Yeah, it is an issue that still we haven't got anywhere near starting to solve, unfortunately, and the latest evidence is that which we have just seen this afternoon. As regards to football, Chelsea won it with a terrific performance. The fourth, and Jose Mourinho had no idea that was a penalty, did they? They hadn't seen it. He knew, and everybody else in that ground knew as well. It took nearly 2 minutes for us to get it confirmed by VAR, but ultimately we got there. Goals galore from Europe's top 5 leagues. Miguel Almiron does the same thing in a Manchester United jersey. Jesse Lingard, you save the same time to adorn the club with that as well. 30 hours, Jesse Lingard, no goals, no assists.
No, not good.
Anyway, thank you very much. We'll be with Andy at the top of the hour for the club. 25 hours, is it?
Yeah, you do him a disservice.
It'll soon be 30.
25.
Well done, Chelsea. Top class, wasn't it? Very mature.
Yeah, very mature. I thought the tactics were spot on. It was a tactic to stop Spurs, and they certainly did that. Harry Kane, the only shot on target Spurs had, came in the 89th minute. We're talking about one of the best players, centre forwards in Europe right now. I thought they had a threat. Chelsea had a threat all afternoon, took their goals well. Spurs ill-disciplined, the goalkeeper and Son going down to 10 men. But we started here, we're looking at Willian's goal. Again, Spurs should do more to stop it. Got to show him inside, not show him on his favourite foot. They don't get out to the ball quick enough and stop it coming in. You see Willian there, just a drop of his shoulder onto his favourite right foot, and you see Dele Alli. This is not acceptable either. Dele Alli ducking, put his arms in the air. You want more than that from your midfield players, from all your players. Just watch it here. That's wrong. Dele Alli's got to do more there. England midfield player. You expect more from the midfield player there.
A little bit more. I thought, tonight what I thought, Richard, lots of things about the game that were good for Chelsea, but quite simply, when in possession, and I mean when in possession, there was a huge difference in how they used it and how good they were with it. Spurs on the ball tonight were as poor as I've seen them.
Watch the ref here.
Yeah.
Forget everything else. Watch the ref.
They were as poor as I've seen them. Chelsea were very good. That's a moment of complete and utter madness.
Tottenham a
so
free
he's
kick.
given Tottenham a free kick. The Chelsea players like us can't believe it. Gazaniga just got catch.
He's in the opposition's penalty box. That's because they're allowed to go forward. Jose Mourinho changed it because he couldn't cope. He had to do something, and otherwise it could have been 3-4-5. But for me, he had to change something.
Yeah, he did.
And Spurs got better, but Chelsea just outran Spurs afternoon. They outbattled them. They were more of a threat. They scored 2 very good goals. Willian looked a threat all afternoon. Showed what a really good player Willian is.
A couple of incidents in there that Tottenham, I'm sure, will raise, and I think with good reason. 2 incidents that could, perhaps should have led to a penalty.
Certainly could have. And see, the problem with this is that the way they say it's got to be a clear and obvious error. So, I don't know what could be more clear and more obvious. Look where the referee stood again, looking straight at it. It's to the right of the screen, trying to get in. Aurier pretty much hauled to the ground.
It's Kanté.
Yeah, Kanté's done it. And
Pen? Yes or no?
Oh yes, it's a penalty for me. Yeah. Why would it not be?
So why? See, this is what I don't understand either. Why, you say it's clear and obvious. I think it is to everybody that saw it. So why isn't it looked at again then?
Well, it has been looked at, Richard, but it's been deemed not to be clear and obvious. There's another one. Marcus Alonso has no idea. He's got his back to play.
If you're looking
he's got his back to the ball. His only interest is in holding up Dele Alli.
Well, you've got to give it. If you look at it again, you've got to say to Anthony Taylor, sorry, the system that obviously we work in the Premier League is that these decisions are made off the pitch, but protocol, Taylor should actually be asked to go and look at that and make his own mind up, shouldn't he?
Yes.
Is that have I missed that? Is that a penalty?
Yes, he should be given the advice. Anthony, I think you should go and have a look at that again. You might change your mind. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But at least he's made this decision. At the moment, we have somebody sitting in a booth who's reluctant to change the decision unless it's so catastrophically different, i.e. the Chelsea penalty, which was obvious to everyone that Anthony Taylor had made a big rick. That's when they'll change it. But it shouldn't just be like that, Richard. If that's a penalty, which we all think it was...
Were they both?
Well, I think the second one less so, because I think Dele Alli was given as good as he got, but he was hauled down.
I don't understand less so. You've often made the point down there. No, because it doesn't say how much...
No, he was tussling with that Alonso in the second one, I thought. Whereas I think Aurier wasn't interested in Kanté. He was interested in getting round Kanté and getting to the football, and Kanté was only interested in holding him down.
Yeah, your point is very interesting, Richard, because you say, well, if Anthony Taylor sees it and he's not sure, then go to VAR. That's what VAR is there for.
I just don't get it at all, that if it's been looked at again, somebody hasn't whispered in his ear and said, by the way, Anthony, you've missed one there.
But that's what I'm saying. Look where Anthony Taylor is. Look at where the incident happens.
So we added 8 minutes for the stoppages that we got. It would take him less time to get across to a monitor, have a look and make his own mind up.
It would take him less time. And listen, Richard, he might not change his mind, but look at Alonso there. He hooks his arm round the midriff of Dele Alli. Dele Alli's given a little bit. But honestly, if VAR isn't in it for that, then what on earth is it here for?
Well, plainly to clear up the blindingly obvious, which was a penalty to Chelsea, and that Son should have been sent off. But we all saw that, didn't we?
But so VAR, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question on VAR? What do you think? Is VAR making our referees in England, in the Premier League, is it making them duck decisions that they would normally have made because they've got the safety net of VAR?
Absolutely. We made that point off air during the game. We basically said it's referees now, they don't want to get it wrong. They're I wouldn't say scared is a strong word, but they're wary of getting decisions wrong. So they've now got an extra sort of safety net, if you like, and they can go to VAR. They are ducking the big decisions because they've got that safety net of going to VAR, which gives us more of an obvious and clear
that's
decision.
One of the problems I have today, that everybody involved with VAR will be congratulating themselves and saying, well, that's 2 more we got right. But
hold on, what about 2
the match day, well, it's 2 they did get. Well, they didn't get them wrong, Andy, because they weren't referred, so they won't count them. They won't be statistically part of that formula.
Of course.
But Anthony Taylor did not need to refer to VAR today.
He shouldn't have needed to refer, no.
On either of those big decisions.
No. The first one's staggering. Staggering. Right? The goalkeeping
And that says a lot about the standard of our referee.
The goalkeeping one is staggering. I would excuse him slightly on the Son one, because Son's movement of the foot happens very quickly. And if by chance he's looking at it and he looks away to see where the ball's going out of play or not, he might have just taken his eye off Son at the moment his foot went up and down again. So he could have missed that. But he could not have missed Gazaniga.
No.
Impossible. And yet he did.
And gave it the other way.
He gave it the other way. Staggering. And he's our FIFA referee.
He is one of them, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, when he's working in the Champions League, as we saw recently, Leon, was it?
Yeah.
He was asked, he was invited to go to the monitor to check a decision that he had not seen, and he changed his own mind.
Exactly. Well, they're more likely to change their mind. Don't you think, John, if they're looking themselves? If they think they've got it wrong, rather than be told by someone you're wrong?
Of course. Of course. But VAR is there to help the referees ultimately.
Do you think
so when you're unsure, when you're really unsure, remember we've got the luxury here of seeing it. Now I totally agree with Andy. The first one, how he doesn't call that a penalty and a potential sending off, because Gazaniga's foot is up near
the head, isn't it?
Tammy Abraham's chest. So it's dangerous play as well, Andy. It could be a penalty and a red card. The second one, he gives the foul, and I think he misses Son kicking out at Rudiger. So when he's unsure, then go to VAR, and VAR corrected it. So I don't think there's anything wrong possibly with the second one, although you think he might have spotted it. Remember, VAR is there to help our referees.
So far this year,
referee is
John,
a really tough job.
VAR has ruled out 26 goals now in the Premier League. 26. Now, I'm not saying all of them should have stood, but a large percentage of those have been ruled out because of
an eyelash was offside.
An eyelash, a long nose, an armpit.
An armpit.
The idea of playing football is to score goals, isn't it? And they win matches ultimately. Why are we looking for so many reasons to disallow goals, do you think? And the second part of that question, has VAR added anything to the game?
I think it can clear up a lot of things. I do. I think close calls. I think close calls sometimes can be corrected by VAR because they've got the luxury, as I say, to look at the replays, slow it all down, and come to a correct decision. Although sometimes still they don't get it right, but generally you'd like to think they would. But also with VAR, it's a case of, remember, Andy, I wouldn't want to be a ref. Who would want to be a ref? It's an option for them to go, and they've got a second bite at it. If they miss the first one, they can go to VAR.
What was the first thing you did when you scored a goal?
Well, celebrate, run to the crowd.
You can't do that now.
The fans are not celebrating even, are they?
That's a...
Because they're almost thinking, hold on a minute, I don't want to jump out of my seat and celebrate, because you know what?
Sorry, we just interrupt the conversation. Says that he was in a hurry, wasn't he? Results this weekend, nothing at Goodison, quite literally nothing. Saints won at Villa, huge win that for them. Burnley won on the road at Bournemouth. Sheffield United still unbeaten this season on the road. Newcastle won with that Almiron goal that we shared or were enjoying again in the company of Andy Kerr a moment or so back. Wolves won at Norwich. City beat Leicester. Watford, the bottom club, beat Manchester United today 2-0. And Chelsea won at Tottenham, who finished with 10 after Song was sent off, also by 2-0. We've got a table like this as we enter Christmas. If you are celebrating, I do wish you a very happy Christmas, and we will be back with you on Thursday, which for most of us is Boxing Day, or if you're Irish, and with us St Stephen's Day, if I'm not mistaken. These are our St Stephen's Day fixtures, Boxing Day fixtures. Plenty of them. Channel choices to the right hand side. It's a time of the year that Some find stressful, others thoroughly enjoy. I think
How do you find it?
Oh, I've always enjoyed it, but I do wish that we could have a proper break.
Yes.
Start of January, I wish we could have a 2-week break when everybody takes a rest. And
I agree. After this year.
I mean a proper break.
After this year, hopefully.
Yeah. John, thank you for your company.
Yes.
Thanks.
It's been very enjoyable.
Thanks, Richard. I've enjoyed it. Cheers,
Please
Andy.
do not be a
thanks, John.
stranger. We look forward to seeing you in the
Thanks
new
very
year.
much.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed it.
And